So, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so I'm just still admitting everyone here.
Afternoon.
So, welcome to our meeting. Actually, this is our meeting. Hi, Helen. Yeah, so this is a forum meeting for all the Reiki practitioners, regardless of our lineage. Because we just want to talk today, how are we doing amidst the COVID? And this is one of the concern of the Reiki Wellness Manila. So, kaya we gathered together today to discuss where do we go from there. Actually, that's just like a song. No? So, just to introduce to everyone, those who belong to who are working for the Reiki Wellness Manila, we have Nanet here. So
Present.
we have Hilda.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
And then we have Aldi.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So just for the others to know, so we created the Reiki Wellness Manila to be of service for all the Reiki practitioners. So we aim to help all the Reiki practitioners in their practice, be it on the personal, spiritual, and skills development. So it was created in 2018 ba? 18. And then one of our major project is really to gather all the Reiki practitioners and share all of our experiences. So that's why last year, with all of our energies, all of us, not only the Reiki Wellness Manila staff, we were able to hold the first Reiki conference. So now we are in the, I'm going to meet everyone now.
Hi.
Hello, I'm doing good. So, thank you, Angie, for coming. What time is it there now? Oh, you are in mute, sorry. Okay. What time is it?
11:02.
In the
11:03.
morning. In the morning.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now we also have Abby, who is also part of the Reiki Wellness staff, who's also joining us now. So just come in. Yeah. So now we start. So we have, I'm just going to share our screen. Let us make this forum a free forum for everyone, no? So you can say your thoughts, or you can already ask your questions while I am discussing, because we only have 1 hour to go, and pagka meron pa tayong separate forum, baka hindi natin matapos ang 1 hour natin. So we have here the title of our meeting is Where Do We Go From Here? Parang kanta siya ni Madonna. This came about because there are many questions that came to me or to us during the quarantine. When the quarantine started, I had several messages asking me, how are we going to practice now? Shall we do it hands-on, hands-off, or after the quarantine, what are we going to do? So here are the questions. How shall we practice during the quarantine? How shall we practice after the lockdown? How do we face the people who might be afraid of hands-on healing after the quarantine? Will our work on healing be affected? And last was, how shall we adapt to the norm, to the normal, to the new normal? That's the new norm. So if there are other questions na hindi dito, maybe you can also share kung ano ba ang mga pumasok sa inyo. What other questions that came into your mind when we had the quarantine? Huh? But first, before we answer and move further, I would just like to ask, how are you all? No? So, kumusta ba kayong lahat? So, I will just stop my screen sharing first. And maybe you can share, unmute yourself if you would like to share. How are you now? How are you during the quarantine? Are you still able to heal others, or what are the things that occupy you? Or what are the things that came into your mind as a question in our practice during the quarantine? So the screen is now open. So maybe somebody can ask.
Me.
Yes. Is that Tanya? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think right now I can put into practice what I learned as a Reiki practitioner, because a lot of my friends are calling me and really staying on the phone so long. You know, a lot are feeling a bit depressed.
Mm-hmm. So that
So I'm
means there's a
busy.
need
Yeah.
for Reiki, right?
Yes. Yes. And I've been doing distance healing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. So what about the others? Is there anyone who would like to share?
Hello.
Yes, Abby.
So ako naman po, sobrang busy na po ulit namin sa work. Parang bumalik na siya sa normal operations kasi parang we're implementing new program. So
Mm-hmm.
every day mas parang we need to monitor every day
Is
kung
it still
receptive.
online?
Everything online, teacher.
Okay.
So since ako yung sa mga design, so very crucial every day kung ano ba yung effect or receptive ba yung mga tao dun sa mga post, ganyan. So, yung Reiki na nagagawa ko is really more on just the self-healing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or, yun.
Okay. So it's self-healing. Okay, what about the others? Are there others who would like to share? How are you? And
Hello po.
what's
I'd like to
working?
share.
Alright,
Okay.
sige po, okay na.
Reg?
Yes.
Are you the one? Okay. Reg and then Angga. Okay, Reg.
Alright. Okay. Dito naman po sa Zamboanga, may mga cases po dito ng suicide. So, right now, mga friends ng mga victim, ako yung kinokontak para kung meron mga depression na nangyayari sa mga kaibigan nila. So, ako yung sa akin nila pino-forward. So I got also mga distance healing, and then pinakausap ko yung mga under depression mga friends nila.
So
So
this
yun.
is online also, yung pagkausap
Yes.
mo.
Yes po. Yun na po.
Yeah, for others to know, Reg is also health coach, right? Yeah?
Yes
You're a
po.
coach, yeah.
Life coach po.
Life coach, yeah.
Yes po.
Okay, Angge? Angge, are you there? Angge? Who's Angge?
Okay, I'm here.
Yes. Okay.
It wasn't easy for me because when I arrived last January, I just came from the Philippines when my brother died, so I was still grieving. And I was recovering that when the pandemic already started. And I was just going back to the groups that I joined. I really contacted already a yoga place where I was going to do Reiki practice and Reiki workshops. I wanted to start meditation, but then the lockdown happened, so I could not. And because I'm in the vulnerable age and also have a vulnerable history of respiratory illnesses, I was asked to stay home. What I've been doing was doing a lot of online responding with groups. I have group chats, and I joined meditation groups. So, and what's happening in the Philippines has really affected me because especially this hunger and this chaos. Looks like some things were not prepared and not being handled well. And my first responsibility is to do Reiki for myself. I'm trying to keep as calm as possible, and through meditation to send positive energy. I also, most of the group chats I know don't know Reiki, but I'm able to do coaching with people who are very much affected and panicking or angry or whatever, afraid. So I try to help them focus on their breathing. So I do more meditation with myself and with others. That's how I communicate.
Are you also quarantined there?
Yes, we are not forced lockdown, but I do it because we have 28,000 cases here. So it was quite scary in the beginning. People didn't wear masks. They don't like masks. So
I think that
here in Italy. So it's sayang. I really got disappointed. I couldn't do the physical Reiki. I also was already contacting people to give Reiki classes, but this all had to stop. So I think the most important principle I'm practicing is every day, just for today, I trust.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing at the moment. I wanted to say that I also look forward, maybe we could, more than just how do we practice Reiki at this time, how could we also respond to the situation? I don't know, maybe to do healing meditation or whatever. I would also like to have some time to talk to the group about that, to talk with the group, what we can do as a group to respond. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angie. So, is there anyone else who would like to share their thoughts and how are they doing during this quarantine? Okay.
Just been doing Reiki healing mostly on myself, except for I also joined yung Reiki healing marathon. So
Yes.
yun. Kasi like I was supposed to take yung Reiki 2 class and then yung lockdown happened. So I just finished yung Reiki level 2 last weekend. But yun, di ba? Tapos online. So yun, so far mostly self-healing, meditation, but also other times yun, may distant healing. So, yun palang experience ko.
And nakakatuwa pagka may mga nagiging okay.
Saka yung spiritual yung what's this, the meditations during the spiritual festivals has been very helpful for me. Ayun.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so let's start again. So thank you for all your sharing. So as I've said, you can just ask questions whenever you need to. Sandali. Para lang mawala yung... Oops. Mute ko lang kayo lahat. Just unmute yourself. So before we start, I would like us to put ourselves in the Gasha position. And just for a few minutes, just protecting the Divine God. And just feel the presence within us and around us. We ask for the divine guidance. We ask for the opening of our hearts and our minds. Be able to make this gathering fruitful for all of us. Now slowly let us open our eyes. So these are the things that we are going to, the flow of our things that we're going to discuss. So shortly, in a short way, we're just going to share the COVID situation and then maybe an impact on us, potentialities, and then the calling for us. So from the second to the third, these are all the things that came into our mind. No? But I would like you also for you to share what comes also into your mind to also make whatever we have here to be more fruitful, just in case something that you do not know and you know, just share. Okay, so we go to the COVID situation. So just for us to know, so in the Philippines, this is based on May 11 data of World Health Organization. So we have 11,086 confirmed. We have 726 deaths. And then we have 999 recovered. So 64% is on the NCR, 13.9% is on the Central Visayas, and then 11% on Calabarzon, and 3.7% in Luzon. So out of the deaths that we have, 65% are male, and most of them, 65 most of those people who died are 70 years old above, and then the other 30% are 60 to 69 years old. So 72% of all the deaths came from NCR, then 39% from Calabarzon, and then followed by Central Luzon. In the COVID cases, there is a noted community transmission. So kaya maybe that's the reason why the government really has ordered the quarantine. But among all those confirmed cases, 89% are mild cases. So comparing to the world, we have 4,256,538 cases. And then we have 287,95 deaths. There are 1,527,726 that has recovered. And out of those cases, identified cases, 2,441,459 are the active cases. And then yung 1 million are the cases which had an outcome. So yung iba ang outcome, which means na naka-recover. Ang iba naman nawala na sila sa numbers. So we are sharing this because there's really what we call the pandemic. The pandemic, it can really be like how we see it physically or health-wise or life-threatening, and at the same time, pandemic in the form of fear. So it has really affected everyone. So since the quarantine started, all of us had stopped operation. So I wasn't able to go on different provinces to do my Reiki training. So this is what had happened. So complementary centers stopped operation during the ECQ. So for me, I am with the Reiki Wellness and then also with the third eye, both of them had stopped under the ECQ. Most of the Reiki practitioners resorted to the distance healing, and that's what had been shared earlier. Other Reiki practitioners do online healing and classes. And then most of the Reiki practitioners focus on self and spiritual development. And that is very, very unique because I have seen different Reiki practitioners promoting different kind of meditations, doing different kind of distant healing, being in the group of distant healing, or different events online. So you'll see that most of the Reiki practitioners are also busy, doing learning and doing self-development, and of course serving to the distant healing. The only thing that really happened is we had stopped the personal healing, in-person healing, and also the really live classes or in-person classes. So there's a grace in this situation, and we all know that there's a grace. So one is we were given the time to reflect and be able to be in the present moment. I'm sure you all experienced this, that we just have accepted that there is a quarantine and it has been expanded, it has been extended, and we might extend. So we're just accepting the things that we cannot really change, So that is all really living in the present moment. We were given a time to focus on spiritual and self-development. For one, I myself have been attending also lots of classes, for Reiki, for spiritual, and also for skills. So, and I know a lot of you are also like that. So creativity works on how we can serve others. Yeah, I've seen some Reiki practitioners are doing classes also online. Others have also joined the fundraising to help the frontliners. So creativity is at work. And there's a deeper unity and group work among Reiki practitioners, especially when we hold the distant healing. I really see the enthusiasm of everyone. When we do our Reiki meditation, there's so much people who are there. So there's a deeper unity and to connect. So these are all the grace, and I'm sure maybe you can also share what are the grace that has come to you during this quarantine. So these are our potentialities. when we say potentiality, because if you see the questions that we had earlier, so what are we going to do during the quarantine? How are we going to practice after the quarantine? To answer those questions, let us first see the grace and at the same time now see the potentialities and what are the avenues or concerns that we can really expand. Potentialities, one is this is a time for us to promote a more holistic view of health. This is a time for us to explain to our family, to our people, that it is not only about putting masks, having gloves, having PPE, but also see the health in a more holistic view. In our subdivision, there was a positive case here. A nurse, no, and then she got the COVID from the work. And when that news came to me, I remember a day when I was in the supermarket and I saw a group of nurses on the line to the cashier, and they have lots of big tray of all food that we know would be very, very acidic for the body. What I mean is not really so healthy or not immune boosting. And I heard one of the nurses saying, oh, this is for Doctora. And the food for Doctora are also all junk food. So this is also the way for us, or the time for us to really see and explain to everyone that in the holistic point of view of health, taking care of ourselves is not only about putting masks, no? Having the PPE, but also knowing what we can put within ourselves, because it's the one that can really protect us from the virus. No? So a time for us to understand and to explain to our family. This is a time for us for the promotion of self-care. It's a time for us to tell our members of the family that we should really take care of ourselves. A time for the teenagers, to share what we have learned so that they can also promote self-care. And if you are a teacher, this is also a time for you to tell everyone that you can also do a self-care by learning Reiki. Okay? Number 3 is also, this is a time for the promotion of stress relief tools and exercises. I'm just really concerned about all those people, especially those old ones who became sad already and they don't know anything, how to be relieved from the sadness and boredom. So if we know a certain stress relief tools, especially the breathing exercises, we can also share that. No? So everything that we can share to everyone for stress relief, this is the time. And related to the holistic view of health, and this is more of the promotion of integrative concept of health, which means there is no single method or therapy or cure for a certain illness. It's always integrative. We cannot even say that Reiki is the only one that can heal, but Reiki complements everything. So this is the time for us to understand and share to others that integrative concept of health is the one that really makes people well. And Reiki practitioners can practice under the GCQ on health-related institutions or business. if we move from ECQ to GCQ under the guidelines, it says there that if you belong or your work belongs to health-related institution or businesses, then you can already open your business. So yay, you can already open. So these are all our potentialities. So what can be our concern? Another one. So the other one is the practice of Reiki in different avenues. So we can really start looking beyond. No? The practice of Reiki should not always be like the way how we practice it before. But let's see the other avenues like online, practicing different forms of healing online, or really on a distance healing. So what can be our concerns from here? When we practice Reiki, our concern is the practice of Reiki should include the guidelines for infectious disease. And of course, our concern is to really strengthening the trust of our Reiki clients. And how we can do that? So there are many ways, no? And which we are going to discuss later. Why did I put the trust of Reiki clients? Because that's one of the concerns or issue in the social distancing, right? So the clients might think that maybe it's not good to have Reiki because Reiki always touch. And besides, most of the Reiki practitioners are not really health professionals. So that's why I put this as our concern is how to really strengthen the trust of our Reiki clients. So before I continue, do you have any questions or additional potentialities or concerns that I did not think or did not come into my mind? So you are all muted, so you can unmute yourself.
I'd like to add that potentialities, aside from what we could, the potentialities of practicing Reiki, situation actually gives great potential to live out the principles of Reiki. The most important learning I think we're getting from this pandemic is the truth or the value of non-separation. And the 5 Reiki principles are actually very, very clear manifestations of non-separation and compassion. And talking about Reiki and about our way of life as Reiki practitioners, I think one thing that people need now is sense-making, making sense of this very uncertain, as you said, there's another pandemic, which is panic and fear, because people control. And if we can help people see that this is a chance, really, because the world has become more together while we are in our homes, right? There are more instances of solidarity and compassion. And with the hunger going on in the Philippines, so many people are helping. So that's what I'm saying. Without really coming out and healing people, we can use the principles in healing humanity, in helping heal humanity.
Exactly, because Mikao Usui, by just sharing the Reiki principles, it's already a spiritual medicine. That's how Mikao Usui promoted the Reiki principles. Yeah, thank you again. And it's also really true. We become more united, more together during this pandemic. I just remember last Sunday, when we are all seated on our sofa and attending mass online, Bishop David says that yes, we were not able to go to the mass and to the church, but we have just turned our home into a place of of worship. So that's also what happened. We were not really able to go out to heal others or to get in touch with others, but we have been so much connected with our distant sibling, no? Yeah, that's really true. Okay, so do you have any others for the others? Or potentialities or concerns? Okay, so let's move on. So the calling for us is, of course, for ourselves and our service to others. I will understand if the other Reiki practitioners are still not healing others, that's okay. But for those who are already healing others and we go on the service for others, it is some of the sharing is also for you. No? So for ourselves, of course, we all know already this, all the types of self-care should be physical, emotional, social, and spiritual. And I know you are all doing this. On the spiritual, what happened when I was making this slide is I got some cards and I asked the oracle, I said, oh God, what are the things that you would like to tell us in the group for our spiritual development or spiritual teaching? And the five that I'm going to share are the things that came into the oracle. So one is enjoy the present moment with pleasure. So we might be extended, but let us enjoy the present moment without guilt, because sometimes there are tendencies for some people to really be guilty if they are so happy while the others do not have food to eat. But this time, let us just be in the present moment because we might not have this time really that we all have the time to really develop and make time for ourselves. So, play, play. Yesterday with my child, I was able to play badminton. So I'm glad that I'm enjoying the present moment with pleasure. Second is keep life simple. Although we are becoming so busy also online, let us make things simple and focus only what is important. This is also a time for us to really check on ourselves. What are the things that how I made my life complicated? Look around. No? Maybe this is also the time for us to do feng shui or to really get rid of all the things that we do that we. So a time for us to make life simple. Number 3 is step into the light and take leadership. This is calling for us to help by being responsible and understanding that maybe there's something that we can really share. Share about Reiki to others, or maybe in our home, how can we help to boost the immune system of our family and take leadership? Or maybe in your own, among all your friends, in online or in person, but you can also take the leadership to promote the holistic health, the Reiki. Number 4 is embrace our wholeness. During the time that we are just at home and maybe sometimes we're not so busy, we came in so much in contact with our own selves and we come to know our weakness, the dark side and the beautiful side. Or so now let us embrace everything within us, our own self, learn from our own life experiences, and look forward to the new phase when we lift this ECQ. Look forward to open yourself into the new you. If we have a new normal, then we can also have our new self. No? And number 5, remember that you are alive. You are alive means that you are a soul. So with this remembering that you're alive, we go back to this picture that says, your purpose is not what you do to bring home a paycheck. Your purpose is what you were put on earth to do with such intensity and passion that it becomes your spiritual calling. So this is for the number 5, remembering that we are a divine soul living in this physical body, in this physical world. So for our self-care, I have shared this already in one of my writings in my blog. So of course, we encourage everyone to do a self-care. We know that when we boost our etheric body, we boost our physical body. And self-reiki, the energy boost also can come from our own food that we eat, things that we do every day, exercise and everything. So we meditate, we pray, and reflect. What is good also during this quarantine is I come across with so many novenas, and I'm studying different kinds of novenas, and each one is so beautiful. So we can also explore our prayer life. Right? Number 3, learn techniques for mental health and stress relief. I know one of the Reiki practitioner posted the other day some of the talk about mental health. It's also good if you're not really so familiar with the subject, that we all learn some techniques and listen to their teachings. I'm also posting different, there is going to be a meditation conference. I think that's going to be happening on May 18. That's also online. And many speakers, usually those are for free. If you were not able to catch the time for that conference, let's say for the day, you can always catch the talk because it's usually for 24 hours. No? And for the stress relief, this is what the Reiki Wellness also, that we are going to offer also stress relief tools for the coming Reiki Forum that we're going to have. We're going to teach all of us, no, Reiki practitioners, some stress relief tools. No? And that is also will be very, very beneficial for us and also to share to our family members and to our friends. Number 4, for the self-care also is to learn complementary therapies to boost one's immunity and to address COVID-19. So there are many, the functional medicine has already released some of their self-care protocols that we can practice for ourselves, for our immunity, and to address just in case there, I pray that it could not happen, but just in case we face something in our family with the COVID-19. So this is the time that we have to learn different kinds of complementary therapies, not to really be a doctor or what if you're not a doctor, but just to help ourselves. And we know that whatever we practice, this is not an alternative to the real medical practice. Okay. Service to others. Practice the accepted norms. If ever you're going to do Reiki, whether we have lifted already the ECQ or not, this can be the norms. So practice the accepted norms under the circumstances of COVID-19 pandemic. So that means social distancing, wearing of masks, wearing of gloves if necessary, and alcohol use, and PPE if necessary. PPE, we have discussed in the Reiki Wellness that it depends on the situation and if it is being ordered, no? Especially from the health wing of our government. If it is being asked that we wear PPE, then we can wear also PPE when we do the Reiki. So social distancing could be you are also doing Reiki, but you are just facing each other. Everything should be an consensus or an agreement between the Reiki practitioner and the healer. But because this is the accepted norms under the COVID-19, so we put it here, no? Everything. And of course, the temperature monitoring. Number 2, the place where we shall work should pass the criteria for the prevention of infectious disease, which means if we open as a wellness center again, so there should be a disinfecting of the place, and there should be also a temperature monitoring for all the people who come, and then of course the use of alcohol and other preventive masks and everything. Number 3, I will really suggest for those who are really practicing Reiki professionally, or if not really professionally, but you go out to be called for Reiki, do Reiki on others, I will suggest that you do a client intake form. So what's the client intake form? Kahit na siguro it's not really a formal paper, if you don't have the real client intake form, just a notebook for you to really document your healing. So you have your personal information. We have the health history of the client. So their exposure also to the COVID and concerns of the client. What is the problem of the client? And then of course the consent. Why do we encourage this? Because of in the present time, fear is there and trust issue is there, no? So we would like, one, to really get rid of all the fear. It can be coming from us or coming from the client. So this intake form, especially with the consent, can make everyone be responsible for what is happening and going to happen within, before, and after the healing. So this is also like your safety net. You know? So you also get all the health history, the clients, and of course, if the client needs to be taken or referred to a doctor, you have to. It's part of also in the consent that our practice is not an alternative to the medical attention. Number 4, educate your client on holistic health and why Reiki is important. What is the role of Reiki in the holistic health? No? So we have to really say there's a role of Reiki in everything that we do. In the holistic health, the Reiki deals with the energy level, deals with the mind, no? And we don't deal with the physical if we are not a doctor or other health professionals. But the Reiki will complement everything. Use materials. If you have materials, share information even on the net. Um, explore different ways to give healing, which means there can be a distance or online healing. There can be a family healing. If you are trained, you may practice Reiki guidance. Reiki guidance is a spiritual guidance. There are some of Reiki practitioners who are already trained for Reiki guidance. So it's not only Reiki that you can only do. You can also do Reiki medical institute or holistic health guidance online. If you are trained to do so. So there are so many avenues that we can do with Reiki online. Huh? Number 7, if you are trained, you may teach Reiki and meditation, provided that the attunement is still in person, which means you're face-to-face, online, and not automated. So that's the thing that we really encourage, because there should always be a personal interaction between the student and the client and the teacher. 7, enhance your skills. It's also good to know other complementary therapies. No? The easiest to do is to learn the essential oils. No? So that's also a complementary therapies that can also help us, our family, and also others. Just to promote, there's going to be a Reiki essential oil conference. I posted it online that you can attend the conference for, I think it's 3 days, and there's also a manual or a free gift manual that is you can also download, and that's usually for free. Of course, after that conference, usually they ask you to buy, but you know, attending the conference for free, you will already get a lot of information in that. I usually do that. I take online, and then I take notes of everything that I learned. And as I told you, you can always catch up because usually the video is for 24 hours. And of course, develop your Reiki practice. So develop your Reiki practice. We have come up already as part of the Reiki professional, the Reiki standard and tools, in which we give some tips on how to really see a client professionally, how you deal with it, the questions and answer, what are the ethics, etc. So you can also add this. And maybe, and I'm thinking that in the developing the Reiki practice, we should also include now how to see a client professionally online, right? So that's a good thing that we can also develop for ourselves. Mm-hmm. Later. Sorry, my computer has. Okay, while my computer is doing something, do you have any question?
Hi, Aisha. I have a
Yes.
question. Where
Is
did
it
you
Nanette?
post? Yeah, this is Nanette.
Mhm.
Na the seminar ba yun? Or
Yeah.
the thing for
Essential
that?
oils?
Because I'm already into that. Di ba tayo?
Yes.
So I'm curious.
How? How did I?
Where did you
Because I'm a part of the health talks. Because I am part of a health talk, so I usually promote, because in our center in Untitled Wellness Center in BBI, we usually promote health talks online. So because I'm part of it, so I promote it also here. Yeah.
Because you mentioned as you posted it. Where did you post it? I checked through Cosmic Healer.
No, I posted it in Untitled Wellness Center, and then I think I posted it on my wall.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. We'll
but we
check
can
on it.
post it.
Thank you.
But we can post it in the Reiki Wellness, right? Yeah?
Dapat. Thank
Yeah,
you.
okay,
Yeah,
yes, okay.
thank you.
Welcome. Okay, and then number 9, promote Reiki integrative care. So Reiki integrative care means the Reiki, promoting Reiki as a part of the different modalities that we implement or we can practice on ourselves and others as a part of the care and wellness. So that means it's also good to know the different therapies. Where can we apply Reiki? And that's what we call the Reiki integrative care. So as part of developing this, after this uh, forum, the Reiki Wellness have planned 4 more forums wherein we're going to teach everyone some complementary tools and therapy. Let's say acupressure for immune boosting and stress relief. So, and then we're also going to deal with the Reiki integrative care itself, the discussion on it with the COVID, and then the others. No? So these are the 3 forum online. So these are the Reiki integrative care for self and family. And here we're going to discuss different therapies that we can integrate with Reiki for ourselves and family for immune boosting. We have acupressure for stress and immune boosting, for stress relief, chakra, food and supplement, and then additional toolkits for stress relief and immune boosting. So those are the things that we hope to share with you in the coming Reiki Forum. We have organized this so that we can all help the Reiki community. Also, other things that we can do aside from Reiki. Okay, so question for the others. Okay. Meron ba kayong tanong? Ako muna to. Okay, so any thoughts? Any thoughts? Any do you think what we're doing is helpful? Okay, questions? Okay,
I
yeah.
don't want to
Yeah,
monopolize, but
yeah.
I'd like.
Hi, someone's talking.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, I'd just like to say thank you for this. Yeah, it's helpful indeed. Ako, I've been parang there's a lot of offering online, mga sessions, mga class, ang dami kong kiniklik na mag-a-attend ako. Pero for some reason, hindi ako nakaka-attend. Sa'yo lang ako nag-a-attend eh.
Yes, welcome.
No, I mean, sa'yo yung na-attendan ko na talagang medyo talagang tinutukan ko, natapos ko. Yung iba parang, yung iba pupunta ko pero parang hindi ko natatapos. Yung iba, you know, but this is helpful for me as a healer. Parang, kasi ano ko eh, when I got back from my training, medyo hanging talaga ako eh. So, hindi ko alam kung hindi pa ako fully talaga o-offer ng kung ano yung pwede kong ibigay. So, parang sa ngayon, kailangan kong makinig. Sa ngayon, kailangan kong makatanggap. So, I'm just grateful for this time that for what you are offering. So, yun lang. Maraming salamat.
Yeah. But we are also looking forward to what you can share in the future.
Yeah, oo. Pinaghahandaan ko kung paano ko mabibigay.
Yeah, wow. Galing.
Salamat.
Oh, did you see that? Yeah, that there's a Chloe Good Child? I posted it.
That one, I've been attending her session. So,
Yes.
mag-attend ako sa
Yeah,
kanya.
that's good.
Salamat.
Yeah. What about the others? Thank you, yeah.
Yeah,
Angge.
I wanted I saw the line of the Reiki Forum.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to ask if there would be space for the role of Reiki practitioners in healing also humanity, not only as healers of people directly or our clients, because it's a very difficult times we're in, but it's also in a way very exciting.
Yeah.
Because it looks like there is a potential for change. And
Yes.
as I said, the Reiki principles contain it all. Like economically, we are becoming aware of the things that we really have to change so that this poverty can be responded to, or climate change. So anyway, to put together that, the healing of people, service to people and healing of humanity, I don't know if maybe we could have a collective meditation, or we could have a reflection on what we learned from this pandemic. Actually, I made a reflection guide, which I have been already using with other groups, the negative changes because of the pandemic, and also the positive changes. And what is the new normal? How can we use the new normal as a way to transform the earth or society?
Or maybe you can share it.
Yeah, I could send it to you and you could respond to it. I've already been practicing it with some groups that do reflection with me. And it's good. It's good really that they're really realizing. For example, many people have been aware that it's not good anymore to rely on the supermarket for food. So many have started urban gardening. And my family, for example, my children are planning to start collect communal urban gardens, so that, we don't end up only giving food for the poor, but empowering them that they become not poor anymore, that they hold their lives, or maybe advocating more cooperatives, so that the economic imbalance can be less. I also formulated an alternative program for children, because one of my group chats are former students who have young children, and they're panicking what to do with their children. And I actually had the program before which I used for my children. So I wrote it up, and it's an alternative program doing in school as a supplement to, at home, as a supplement to school education, which focuses on values. And I just thought now, maybe I include the 5 principles of Reiki. I try to include that in the curriculum of this. I call it farm school because this program incorporates being with nature for the children to learn reading, science, arithmetic, doing it with nature. Anyway, I can share it with whoever are important, but I'm more interested in integrating Reiki into society. How can we as Reiki practitioners encourage other people who are not yet Reiki practitioners to imbibe the Reiki view of life? To imbibe compassion, to imbibe solidarity, to imbibe oneness.
Thank you. Yeah, I just remember that my daughter is asking me to create a video to teach little children how to pray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I am just going to read here from chat. It says the quarantine days emphasize the importance of raising awareness about energy healing. Right, that's really right. So Diana, I'm sorry. I hope you heard a lot. Mahina daw. So sorry, I just realized na medyo mahina nga ang microphone. So but thank you.
During the start lang, pero later on, hindi na.
Okay.
Masimula pa lang. Kasi later, okay, balik sa normal.
Okay. So thank you. So, do you have something to share? So this is all that we can do. There's so many avenues that we can do as a Reiki practitioners. And then after this, and if you need some guidance on how to really make the consent or whatever, the client's form that you need if you're going to practice on others, there's somebody that you don't know, right? doon lang naman tayo nagko-consent kapag hindi na natin kilala yung mga tao. So that's also good to really have an agreement of what you're going to
May
do.
question po ako.
Yeah.
How do you address people who are more hesitant or skeptical about the ability of Reiki to heal, especially during this pandemic?
I mean, how do you address you? Depending kasi if they are coming to you face to face, or they're asking for healing, or you're just being asked a question. So how is it?
Ano lang, parang let's say sa chat, pag tinatanong.
Okay, how does the Reiki work?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Yes, we'll just have to say the Reiki works just like how a touch affects a person. Yeah? Diba ang touch? How a touch.
A touch therapy.
Yeah, a touch. Yeah. How a touch works. Diba it's always consoling, comforting. Initially, that's how we can really say. And it's already a scientific study that the touch can really enhance the happy hormones. Can change the chemical works in our brain. No? So initially, that's how we can really say that's how Reiki works. And then, of course, it goes beyond. Pwede mo rin sabihin, ikaw ba natutuwa ka pagka kinahawakan ka pag may masakit sa'yo? Kung matutuwa ka, di ba? That's how Reiki works. The only difference is we learn how to do that, and there's always a scientific explanation. You know, the best person also to heal is somebody who are allowing us to heal them, but also skeptic. Because once they experience Reiki, then they will understand there's something that they kahit skeptic basta pumayag, okay yun. Okay, so other questions?
Miss Marian? Yeah. Hello? Can you hear me? Yes, I think, Opaline, hi. It's my first time to
Opaline, yes.
I think the question also, I just want to add, because I think with distance healing, that's where the questioning also is sometimes I question if it's the client is receiving it or the client didn't feel anything or whatever. So the distance healing, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So I would really prefer, rather than really doing a distance healing, is to do an online healing. Kung person to person lang din ang i-heal. Kasi mas yun, meron kayong interaction. No?
Like a video call.
Like a video call, yeah, like a video call. And it should really be treated like a really formal way of dealing with the client.
Okay.
And so I would rather encourage that rather than just saying, I'm going to do a distance healing on you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, welcome. Okay, other questions? Sino yan, Nanda?
Can I say something about that? Yeah. Yung tanong ni Miss Opaline, maybe we can actually reiterate or mention that we are only a channel. So we are channeling the divine spirit. And if your client who is a bit skeptical would remember the story in the Bible wherein the Roman soldiers who actually went to Jesus Christ asking that one of his soldiers be healed, Jesus didn't have to go. The soldiers just believed. So if someone comes to me, I would really check on her faith, because if she asks me, even if the person is skeptical or doubting, that is already an opening. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Apali. Aleli, you
Tita
were
Isa.
saying something?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, hi. First, I'd like to thank you for this. This is very helpful. Thank you very much. So, my question is actually related to the previous question. So, part of it you already answered. But yeah, for those who were actually skeptic about like distance healing, because it's a hands-on healing basically, and so I also prefer doing it, of course, hands-on. So I kind of feel, I don't know if I should say lost, or like I'm not that eager on doing it distance healing. Can you give me more maybe advice or tips on how to do it? Not distance, I mean the video
Online.
call. Yeah, online.
Yeah.
Maybe can you
Yes.
help me give
Yeah.
me tips on how to do it properly, the way you do it to your clients? And also, my concern for myself right now is I give healings for free these days because I feel like I'm so guilty charging because people are having a hard time. You know, what are your thoughts on these? Yeah,
Okay, so
thank you.
thank you, Aleli. I will answer first the second question.
Okay.
So it's up to you. If you feel comfortable, if you feel comfortable in giving it for free, that's good. But if you feel a certain irk in your heart in giving it for free,
A little.
I think we have to rethink about that. No, distance healing, because everyone is doing a distance healing. I will really encourage that the distance healing should be free. Kasi we in the Reiki group, we have a Reiki marathon. Everyone is sending their name.
Yes.
And I realize now that there are a lot of people joining the Reiki group, not because they're Reiki healers, but because they would like their family to be there on the Reiki marathon. No, so but if you're doing really an online healing, that's a different thing. You know, so how do we do that? You know, so this time, if that is an online healing, you have to rethink. Am I still going to do it for free? I'm using everything, my computer, my everything, right? So you have to rethink if you're going to do it for free. How to do it? Of course, first you have to really check the client. Is this your first time to do a Reiki? And if they said yes, then you have to explain what Reiki is. And the second, you have to explain. Normally, we do a hands-on healing, but because we don't have a hands-on healing now because of the quarantine, we're now going to do it in a distance, but still in person, because you and me are still connected with each other and talking to each other. Originally, Mikao Osui did not lay his hands. It's always a distance healing, which means the client is just there, facing to each other. And then he was just sitting and just emanating the healing to the client. And that's also the same with the attunement. He only thought hands-on healing because the other Reiki practitioners couldn't feel the energy. That's why it became a must for you to feel the energy. But originally, there's no hands-on healing. He was just putting his hands or just sitting while doing the healing. Yeah, just like Jesus Christ. No, he was just commanding the energy. So that's it.
Thank you. Okay.
And then third, the one that I do is usually I will ask the client if you like to lie down or you can sit comfortably. If the client says you can lie down, okay, you lie down. So I'm just going to do, I will start myself in prayer and as an opening for Reiki, and then I will lead you into a meditation-like feeling. So I usually say, if after all the gasha and everything, I usually say, okay, my hands now are focusing on the top of your head. So I just, and then I just feel my hands, right? Yeah, on the top of your head, and then up to the down. Hanggang sa matapos na ganun. I'm just like leading a meditation.
All right. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tita Aisa.
Okay, other questions? So,
Aisa, last lang. I'm not familiar with how the Reiki Marathon goes. People send their request to you, and we Reiki healers just join and send distant healing.
You have to have a day for you because the Reiki marathon is marathon. The term marathon means there is a separate different people with different time or different days. So right now what we're doing is different people in different days. So what you
So
can
the
do,
whole day, I will be available
really,
for Reiki healing.
not really, not. No. You can just spend the time like an hour healing all the names that is posted there. In the yeah, so you can just
healing
say
them all together. Okay.
yeah, so you can
Okay.
just say what day you are available for healing, and then we will post it there.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so I think we're ending now. So I hope this helps, and I hope to see you for our first Reiki teaching, and that will be the Reiki integrative care. So
When? Okay.
yes, Diana.
That's next week po, di ba?
No, I think it's 15.
The 15th. Sorry, disoriented.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let us end this with our meditation. I'm just going to prepare our music. Oops, sorry. Okay. So let's find our most comfortable position. Let us all put our hands in the Dasha position. Let us thank God for the day. Thank God for the time and the space. Let us all put our hands on our forehead and ask the Divine God to allow the Reiki to flow through us. Let us now put our hands on our lap, palms up. Let us focus on our hearts and feel the love and the light within. Let us now feel our hearts and visualize that through our heart, we are connecting to one another through this Reiki light. We are forming a circle of love and light. Let us now visualize that this Reiki is flowing beyond our circle. It's reaching out to everyone as far as it can. Now the Reiki is coming back into our circle. And now we feel it within our hearts. Let us all put our hands on the gastric position. Let us put our hands on the forehead. And let us thank God for Reiki. We may put our hands down. And when we're ready, let us slowly open. So, good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Aisa.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a
Namaste.
good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Sure, Aisa.